Today, I would like to regale you with a lighthearted story about my life as a cigarette smoker. We will spend some time talking about how I got started with this. We'll also talk a little bit about why I considered quitting, and then finally, we'll talk about one specific method that I used to quit smoking. So first, how did it all start? Well, what you see me doing here is what I saw my mother doing basically from birth. My mother was a professional smoker. She smoked most of her life. In fact, she could have even been smoking in utero for all I know. She smoked and she was a professional smoker, and she smoked right up until the day she died. In fact, she had an oxygen tube on and needed to take it off so that she could smoke so she wouldn't blow up. I think that was a wise decision, by the way. So I saw smoking as an acceptable function in my house. My father didn't smoke, however, but it really wasn't until I met Bob Travis. Bob Travis was a transfer student from Hawaii. He was a cool kid. He had long hair, you know. He was the first guy in that class to really have, we all had butch haircuts. Much more hair than what I have today, but but Bob was the cool kid, and he smoked cigarettes. And so Bob got me into smoking cigarettes, and he taught me how to do it. He was a good teacher, by the way, too. But Bob was only around for about a year. And then he transferred off to another school, I'm sure infecting some other young youth. But I continued to carry Bob's mantle. I was going to be a good smoker, and I was. Around 7th or 8th grade, my mother started noticing evidence that I was smoking. I could smoke in the basement, I was smoking over here, outside. So my mother came to me and she said, actually she had the cigarette in her hand, she said, "Robert, I know that you're smoking, and I want you to smoke in the house, because I don't want you to burn the house down." Not that she wanted me to quit, she wanted me to smoke in front of her. So I did. I was the cool kid. At 13 years old, I was smoking in the house. And I could smoke, and I continued to smoke right up through high school, and I was still smoking when I was married to my starter wife. But while married to my starter wife, we decided that it might be important that if we're going to have children, that we quit smoking, because it's not a good environment for children to be in. So I decided to try and quit smoking. So I used a couple different methods. None of them worked for me. One lasted 3 hours. That was not very impressive. The other one, 3 days. I was a 2-pack-a-day guy. That's impressive. That's professional smoker. But I saw an ad in the paper for a hypnosis seminar at the Holiday Inn to help people quit smoking. I thought, what have I got to lose? So I called my sister, who was also a professional smoker, and I said, we're going. So we went to the seminar, and at the seminar, we sat in the back of the room and laughed and giggled, made jokes, made fun of people, like we always do, the juveniles that we are. They had to separate us. Not surprising. They put my sister in the very front of the room and me in the very back of the room, and let me tell you, that was just barely far enough, because we were still laughing and giggling. But during the hypnosis process, they would have you sitting in the chair, and they wanted you to relax, and you'd have your head down like this. Well, my sister was sitting right in front of the loudspeaker, and the presenter was walking all over the room, but she thought the presenter was standing right in front of her, staring at her the whole time. And she started drooling down her shirt, and the drool was running down there, and she couldn't wipe it away, because that would have, the jigs would have been up. They would have known that she wasn't hypnotized. So she drooled. But we went through the whole process, finished it, and at the end of the day they said, now we're not expecting anyone to really quit smoking today, because we've got some tapes and we want you to take them home and listen to them. And then after that, you're going to pick a date and you're going to quit on that quit date. So we said, fantastic, let's go to the bar and smoke. And that's what we did. I called my starter wife. I said, "Hun, bring a pack of cigarettes. We're going to do some smoking." So she brought a pack of cigarettes over there and we smoked them up, but good. But I listened to the tapes. I went home after that and listened to the tapes, and the grammarians and odd counters in this room would truly appreciate how bad these tapes were. There were more ahs, ums, buts, repeats, and stutters on professional tapes. It was unbelievable. But I was dedicated to listening to that, and I did. Finally got through the whole process and was laying in bed one night wheezing, which I did frequently. And I think I was wheezing loud enough that the neighbor could hear me. So I finally decided, that's it. I am done smoking. So I went downstairs and lit up a cigarette, of course, because if you're done smoking, what's the first thing you do? You light up a cigarette. So I walked around the house. I cleaned all the ashtrays out, put them away. I took my cigarettes into the bathroom, and I broke them one by one into the toilet. And with the last puff off of that cigarette, I threw that last one in the toilet, flushed it, and I haven't smoked for 29 years now. 29 years, and I know that because my son is 28 years old, and I quit a year before he was born. So it's always very easy for me to remember. And oddly enough, my father quit a year before I was born. So the real moral of the story is, anybody can quit smoking. If you know of anybody who's trying, encourage them to continue to work at this, because the only way you can actually get away from cigarettes is to continue to try and quit smoking. And there is nothing better than being a non-smoker. Thank you.